So we're live now, but we're not going to roll it out yet. Just 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Few little butterflies going around, but they will settle in their nest very soon.
Oh, the butterflies. You mean internal? The internal butterflies?
Man. The internal butterflies.
Yeah. All right, let me see where we're at here. I don't see it. Here we go. No? No. Should pop up to the top of the screen. Yeah, here we go. We got 7 people in the house. So we're live now. Sound is good. Paul Wacy, Bickerstaff, Karen Allen, Linda Scott, Chris Walling, Kelly B. Sparkling, Joel Andrade. Marcy Duros, these shows resonate with you. Please share.
Yes, please.
We have 19 people in the house. Beth Bulash, Lynn True, Genia Gazda from Vienna, Joel Paulo Andrade. I've known him for 5 or 6 years. It's good to see you. Ruby Lara, Sabrina Hamilton. Hello, everybody. 34 people in the house. All right, we have a special Soul Speaks 5D this morning, to start off the day. There's some new names here. My name's Todd Medina. This is the Soulogy One Network. This is our primary show called Soul Speaks 5D. We've got a very interesting and powerful brother on, Matu.
Thanks for making the butterflies flutter even more. I appreciate that.
Well, it is what it is.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you too, man. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on at such short notice. Thank you for honoring us with your presence and sharing space with us today.
Equal, thank you.
So where are you at? You're in the UK.
I'm in the UK in a lovely little ancient historical town called Bury St Edmunds. I don't know if you've heard of that, but the old Magna Carta and all that shither was drawn up here back in the day. You know, the monastery, the old ancient monastery we have here was apparently was the biggest monastery in its heyday on Earth. So yeah, we'll see about that. Everyone quotes the best that they got in their own town, don't they?
Yeah, but that is a special area. I mean, you know,
absolutely.
It's supposedly like one of the parts of Atlantis that's still up. I don't know. I've read some of that before. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was, needless to say, an important part of that supercontinent that survived as an island. I mean, how do you have that much come out of one little small place like that? It's like Japan.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to have some history to it. So, I've seen you around. Appreciate your love and support and contribution to the energy we call Soulogy in these shows. It's not just the people on the screen. It's everybody that puts their energy into the vortex, their comments, which is what precipitated Morgan reaching out to you. So we appreciate that. So I'll give you the famous question on Soul Speaks 5D. When did you wake? When did you wake up? It's the icebreaker. When did you wake up?
When did I wake up? I would say there's always, you know, without getting into the ego, there's always been a form of waking, of being indifferent and seeing the world differently. But I'd say when let's say the penny totally dropped and I just couldn't be, let's say, part of the masses anymore was maybe in 2010 when we had the eclipse then. So what happened is I thought, I'm going to go watch the eclipse. And I got up, set my alarm in the morning. It was supposed to be like 5 in the morning. I'm sitting there and I can't sleep. I'm not a very good sleeper anyway. So I'm thinking to myself, like, hang on, I feel I've got to go out in the field now. And this was probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I went out in the field and I'm like watching the moon and I'm watching the eclipse happening. And I noticed that the bottom right-hand corner of the moon, probably about, you know, if we were like looking at the moon like a plate, probably about 2 inches in, this little flash, like a flare.
Yeah.
And I felt something. It disturbed me. I was like, I don't know. I can't really put words to it. It wasn't an emotion. It was just it just was. So I got a little excited about that. As I got home, I looked in the mirror and I noticed that my eyes the colours of my eyes had changed. They'd gone to like a greeny turquoise colour, and my eyes are hazel, so they're mainly dark brown than anything else. It's like everything changed then, and I found myself getting up that morning with, let's say, a real divine appreciation for my breath and everything around me. Everything looked different and felt different, you know, where the birds would be tweeting as they would every morning, and I look up, but this time they were like singing. It felt like they were singing an actual personal song to me. And one of the most beautiful things happened, I'll never forget this, that I was looking on the floor and this like trail of ants was coming towards me. I'm like intrigued by them, and I noticed the ant at the front was carrying another ant, which seemed to be dead or probably been partying too hard the night before.
All right.
And he climbed up the step and dropped the little ant at my feet, and it felt like an offering, and I just felt myself welling up and crying. It's like, you know, and I'm like I found myself talking to the ants. I'm like, hey guys, what do you want me to do? And it's sort of like, it just went on from there. You know, I was working in a job. I was a frontline manager. I won't say the place I was working, but I enjoyed the job. It was basically assisting and saving lives, helping the NHS, National Health Service. And when I went into work, we were on a changeover. We were being bought out by, and I will say, DHL. And so rather than a non-profit related business, it becoming a profit related business. So it just didn't feel right. Then they started putting me on these courses. They put you in these fancy hotels and all that, and you got this nice little young entrepreneur selling his stuff. And basically what he's trying to sell was how to manipulate beings, your staff, into hitting targets, getting the figures you want. And that just broke my heart. I couldn't do it. And I said, why can't we live through the heart? Why can't we treat people as equal? And they looked at me like, you're just fucking mad, mate. And it's like, well, tell me something I don't know. So I just couldn't do it. I went back to work, and I got in there and I said, I handed in, I'm stepping down. I can't be management no more. And from that moment onwards, I was segregated. All the staff, everyone just like, I'd come in the canteen early in the morning, and everyone would be sitting at one end of the canteen. I'd be sitting in the other canteen on my own. I've got no problem with that, never have done. But that's the sort of, it was very strange to them. And I found myself that I couldn't sugarcoat anything anymore. Not that I ever had, but sometimes I would zip the lip, but I couldn't. And then I found that if whatever anyone asked me, I would have to tell them exactly what the truth was. And the thing with the truth is, it never holds preference over polarity. It knows up or down. It doesn't know right or wrong. It just is. So, hence to say, it didn't go down too well. So, I left that job at the end of 2011, and I ventured over to America.
Oh, you did?
I left everything, left everything. Met up with a beautiful goddess over there named Azrael. Beautiful, beautiful being. And that's when the true adventure and all the stuff started happening.
Well, we got to hear about it. What happened?
Well,
how did you find her? Did you find her online?
It's always online, you know.
Yeah.
As sort of a weird divine freak like myself in this little town. Whereas I'm brought up in a big family with, let's say, we had a reputation of, you don't rub us the wrong way. Our father was a Glaswegian and brought us up that if you didn't agree with something, you punched your way out of it. But we wasn't no bullies or nothing. We were more like the Wanderers, the film Wanderers. With every town, every weekend, we'd be up the pubs. There'd be massive fights and things like that. But it would be protecting innocence. We wouldn't allow the corruption of innocence in any form. So from that,
sounds like a good crew. So you got the call. You got the call, and you went to America.
Yeah, and I went over there on a 2-month holiday visa.
Yeah.
Basically, come back nearly 6 years later.
6 years later.
Nearly, yeah. Well, it's 5, but 5's such a boring number, and it's not spiritual enough for me. So I like to say 6.
So you went over on a 2-year and just decided to stay anyway.
On a 2-month holiday visa, yep.
I mean, a 2-month, and you stayed for almost 6 years.
Yep, I nearly burned my passport, nearly done that. Luckily, I didn't burn my passport.
Yeah. So what was that like? Did you watch the awakening begin from that point on?
Absolutely. I arrived in Portland, and I was just fascinated by the culture. You know, especially on one side of the river, it's like the consciousness and the way of living and the food. I was just astounded. It's brilliant. And for me, being a little English man, coming from where I grew up, all the film, the only, let's say, acknowledgement or understanding that I had of the grand USA was watching films. So I thought I was on a movie set. I was expecting Steven Seagal to come down the road shooting at me.
Wow. Yeah. So it was an awakening in itself. That is a progressive area, Portland, for a big
Oh,
city. It's a progressive area.
absolutely. I've never seen so many, let's say, we call them knocking shops over here, down one street.
What is that?
A knocking shop, basically strippers and
Oh,
that kind of thing.
you see that everywhere in America.
And
Depending on
another
where you
thing
go.
that I found funny, sorry to interrupt you, beautiful man, was that, peace to us over here is this way round.
Yeah, yeah.
And I found people going past in cars and they were doing that. To us over
Ah.
here, us Englishmen means fuck off. So my ego's coming out. It's like going, what the hell's your problem, mate? So it's having to let's say ground myself into a new way of living, a new way of being, because people may think we speak the same language, but I can tell you this: we're totally different cultures in a way.
Absolutely.
The words and intentions that we say mean completely different to some
Yeah.
people in the USA. I found I freaked a few people out the way I talk. They thought I was being serious when it's humour, because we're very dry.
Yes.
We're very dry.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah. The tonality of certain things, the way things are said. It took me a couple of years to figure that out with Morgan, because
Oh,
the Australian thing is a little different. And sometimes I'd say, is that a cultural thing or, yeah, but I figured it out. But yeah, you're right about that. I didn't know that about the peace sign. So you to the UK after 6 years. So this would have been what, just recently then? It would have been what,
I,
2017?
I come back in 2016. Remember, I added kind of a year on it because I wanted to be ultra spiritual.
There you go. And what was that like coming back? Were you obviously you must have gone through some transformation in America just by the journey you took.
Well, what happened in America is like basically the ladies we were sharing rooms around our friends like that, and it got very toxic in certain places with like, I went over there so pure, so clean. I was, let's say, I had some habits before I went over there, and I had no habits when I was there. So, going into, let's say, a space where there are alcoholics and everyone's on it. Bless my father, rest in peace. He was the alcoholic, so it was always around us.
Yeah.
And it was really uncomfortable, so we'd go from that place. We ended up down Ashland. And then what happened?
Ashland, Oregon.
Ashland,
Yeah.
Oregon. And then
It's
the
a
same
powerful
thing
place.
happened there. Very powerful. Then what happened there, we were like, we can't do this no more. So just got the map out and basically blindly closed our eyes and just went, like putting a towel on a donkey, kind of speak. Next thing, where's the pin land up? Mount Shasta.
Oh,
So we went
wow.
down there for the equinox on the 21st of June. We were there, 2012. Tent, just a tent. We stayed down the Buddha Hole. I'm sure you're aware of the Buddha Hole, right next to the Sacramento River, the headwaters. With nothing. We had a tent, all our belongings, food stamps. That was it. Basically surrendering to Kiamaswa. Kiamaswa, I call all that is. So it's like, I'm ready. I'm not messing around. I just want to be free. And then, my friend, that's when the magic starts happening.
What
Magic
happened?
and weird. We just start every single night. We were there. As soon as I see the mountain, there was just like this crazy connection. It's like, oh my God, I've been here before, like home. And every night, coming over us, going over Lake Siskiyou, seeing golden orbs flying over and landing into the mountain. We'd bump into other people like ex-veterans and things like that. And this is something I've come to learn in life, is that not everyone eyes see. It's always a state of consciousness, state of frequency. Not everyone can hear the same song. So what we were seeing, others weren't seeing. Not everyone was seeing, I should say. And this is every night, on the dot, the same sort of time. They'd fly over, go in the back of the mountain, you'd see that. So they got intrigued. So we're like, we can't stay here forever. We need to try and make some dollars. So we moved closer into the Mount Shasta Sea itself, and we moved up onto the base of the mountain. We were known as, just before, Sand Flats. I've forgotten the name of it, but it was all on the sandy bit that would Agent Orange has sprayed all over. So had a few bear encounters there. That was I've never seen a bear before, let alone heard one. So that was interesting. But that night, well, excuse me, little sidetrack back. When we got into Shasta, we just felt like going toward this shop opposite the police station, which is called the Shambhala Metaphysical Centre, with a lady there, Susan Isabel, who's the keeper of the 13th Mayan crystal skull, apparently. So we went in there, and it was Azrael's birthday at the time. Like, I've got no money, I've got nothing. I had this is Altazar, by the way, here's my proper crystal skull. But I had a little skull by then, and his name was Henry. I called him Henry, and I got him in Portland, and I thought, got no money. I wanted to see if this lovely lady would do a reading for Azrael. So we turned up there, and she wasn't there at the time. Then this car pulled up, and this lady turned out, and she popped out, and she sort of like a little bow to us and bowed back, and I started talking to her, and she knew what was going to happen before we said it. So she's like coming to us into this room. I said, I'd like to offer you this. And there's this massive crystal skull there called Zoltar or something like that. And she started doing a reading for us, for Azrael. And the next thing we know, working there.
Oh, you're working there.
Yeah, I'm the gardener / guardian, which I didn't realise at the time.
Yeah.
And Azrael, amazing artist, was asked to do all murals over the shop windows. So that went on from there. We moved up on the mountain for a little bit, and that's when things really started to happen. One night I was there just sleeping, or was it visualizing? I found this blue orb come up to me. I'm like this, and I thought, am I asleep? Am I awake? Who knows? Who's to say what awake state really truly is? You know, We'll find out one day, won't we? So this blue orb come up, and I ended up following this orb, and it's gone up the top of the mountain. It's going through these little woods. And I remember it clear as anything, like it was just yesterday. Next thing, it's come to this little clearing in the woods, probably about 500 meters square, and there was this rock face, very sandy, rocking, but something didn't seem quite right about it. Next thing, the orb, this blue orb's gone straight through the rock face, so it's holographic. I found myself walking through there, and I'm walking down these corridors, these like granite corridors, like being in a castle over here kind of thing. And I'm going down these corridors. Then I come to this big door on the left, and all of a sudden it opened. There's everyone in there, all these beautiful beings waiting in there. It's like being in Robin Hood. Everyone dressed up like Maid Marian, and the most beautiful beings I've ever seen. Not one of them looked over 30. And I just felt this emotion, and I just knew these things. And I went up to this couple, this man and this lady, and I says, "Are you my mum and dad?" And they started laughing at me. And they said, "No, they're over there." And everyone's crying and clapping and cheering. I was like, guys, I really don't know what's going on. So I've gone over to these two people, and my father's name was Henry, and my mother's name was Surinder. And they're crying and crying, and I found myself saying, I was like, and I'd never even heard of Telos or anything like that. You know, to me, anything like that was total woo-woo. And I was just like, okay, so, and I found myself saying, you know, this, to all those people out there, it's like, this is something that's happened. I don't hold no pedestal to it or nothing like that. And I found myself saying, like, am I a guardian of Telos? And they started giggling and laughing at me, and they go, no, you're a guardian of Zion. And I'm like, what's Zion? So then I've looked around, and what they're doing, they've got all these plaques up on the wall, like oval discs, and they were like rune stones, each a different signal. And they put one, they go, this is for you. And they hung up on the wall, and it was the Tao. They crossed the Tao, which I didn't even know what was. So the only reason I'm giving labels to it now, obviously I've researched after it. Okay. So I thought, okay, so I woke up. We've gone back down that morning, gone to work. I've seen Susan. I said, look, and I've told her all about it, and she's just like got this beautiful little smile on her face, like she just knew this was going to happen. So I was explaining it to her. Then she's given me the book, the Torah, whatever it is. And she goes, here you go. I'm going, what's that? She goes, just look at it. And I found myself flicking through pages and reading Hebrew and understanding Hebrew. And this just blew my mind. It was, to be totally honest with you, it was a little bit scary, because it's like I wasn't getting answers. I kept asking this question, what does this mean? It's like, it means nothing, but it means everything. You'll find out. And it's like, yeah, but, you know, the little ego's saying, I want my dummy back in my mouth. I want to know now. But
So
we know how spirit works. You don't.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to get thorough explanation. You're going to get communication through alignment or synchronicity or events. Yeah. So what's your take on this family, your family, obviously, that you came across? Were they interdimensional? Were they inner Earth?
Absolutely. Inner Earth, interdimensional. They were Telosians, they were Lemurians.
Lemurians. Yeah.
And once this first vision / dream happened, there's like a queue knocking on the door. Hello, Martu, can we have a little word with you? Want to show you some stuff. The next thing, I'm seeing the fall of Atlantis and Lemuria, the Great Flood. I actually was at Atlantis in this big room, which all I could say would be like a form of engine room, but they weren't engines. They're all crystalline structures.
Yeah.
Different like Vogel crystals. But these beings that were in there were not beings of truth or light. They were dark ones. And what they were trying to do was hijack Gaia, the Earth.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were trying to send this beam up to the magnetosphere, change the polarity, interdimensionally take us out of this space and take us somewhere else. I found myself smashing one of the crystals or taking one of the crystals out, and they could not do that.
Yeah.
And what happened when it went shooted up, they tried to do this thing, it reverbed back and deploted back down like a sonic wave. Sunk.
Took everything out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. Go ahead.
No, after you, young man. Okay.
Young man.
Well, you are. We're probably the same age.
I'm 57.
I'm 19.
Not that it mattered. Not that it matters to me.
Absolutely.
No, it's interesting because 5 years ago, when I got on the internet, I met a lady in Europe, and we had some, whatever you call it, recognition, resonation. And there was a couple of Atlantean things, which I didn't know anything about. But what strikes me is that there was this room, and this room was like you're talking about. It was like an engine room. It had all these crystals. She was a crystal holder. And I guess I was getting the history, or kind of like you got. And there was a problem there. And there was like a lot of sorrow. And then I remember seeing like the end of it. It was like we were all standing out there, and I guess that implosion had happened and everything was sinking or whatever. There's volcanoes going off, and it was kind of like, this was the end of it. But yeah, so that resonates. That's interesting that you describe it that way. So you're getting all this information now. Are they teaching you skills and abilities beyond the memories? I mean, what kind of info were you getting? Absolutely.
But the thing is, back then, being a guardian, so to speak, and the funny thing is, all the movies nowadays pretty much represent how it was. We could all fly. Yeah. We had staffs and things like that. And these weren't just staffs, just to say, it was a form of technology. And I suppose this technology then went on to An, which was Egypt, like the Onks and things like these worked with polarity somehow. Yeah. So you could change the physical strong construct of your reality. So that flying back had to lead these children into the mountain, Telos. And I remember there was this lady, my partner at the time, who I loved dearly. I had to leave her behind, and she sunk. And there's something that holds in my heart to this very day.
Wow.
And I remember going in the mountain, and there was these pillars, and all I can remember is like these pillars were like made of hematite, and they all had like inscriptions, like sacred geometry all around them. And if the guardians didn't all stand on each pillar, the dome wouldn't activate. Everyone would have been gone. And I remember these kids and this particular lovely little girl, and she was tugging and crying and pulling on my cape, so to speak. And she was saying what we do, and I couldn't look at her, and I was angry. Yeah, I was angry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's deep, man. I remember in the dimensional experience I had that when the implosion happened and everything was sinking and there was all this natural disaster chaos going on, everybody knew it was over, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and everybody was standing there. Most of it was sadness. And I remember looking at this lady, and I wasn't upset. I remember, and I don't know what I was doing there, but I remember telling them, "Hey, we go on from here. We go on from here." But there was a trail of people, and I don't remember if they were children, but that were leaving, that were going to a safe place or something like that. And then all these others that stayed, almost like there wasn't enough room for them or something. I don't know. That
Interesting.
resonates. Yeah, it is
Interesting.
interesting. So
Very
I don't know if
interesting.
we rub shoulders there in the ethers or something. I don't know.
I would
So
say,
now
or I think
now
you look pretty snazzy in a cape and all, sunshine.
well
And just
so
for the listeners,
yeah
the reason maybe many of my friends, in fact, are not aware of this kind of thing is that I don't share this kind of thing because of the woo woos out there, and not just that. I don't want to be followed, and it's nothing special. It means nothing at the end of the day because everyone is a multidimensional being.
that's
Everyone's
right.
flame is just as bright and burns just as strong as each other. There is no above, there is
Yeah,
no below. There is only oneness, you know.
yeah, that's true. And I think the universe speaks to each one of us in our own unique way, and these memories come back to open up soul code or to activate your mission. Now these communications, are you still having communications with that family, with your soul tribe and Telos?
In ways, it comes down. Then, if I want to, let's say, if I want to meditate and go there, I can go there. I could, if I could draw, if I was a good artist, I could draw exactly what it looked like in there. And a lot
Yeah,
of people, everyone see the thing with, I call it the woo woo land and the new age concept is that there's too much regurgitating of the same format.
yeah,
People will read a
yeah,
book, next thing they're subliminally recording that in themselves and regurgitating it out and adding a little bit of sprinkle their own flavour on it themselves.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I found that really uncomfortable, and especially in Shasta itself, I've never met so many Saint Germains in my life,
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
and
It's funny.
and
It's
possessed people, because it is the Trinity of Om there. It is light, grey, and dark on parade, arm in
yeah,
arm, as strong as each other. So if you're not grounded, and you go there and you just open yourself up to anything, it's going to come in. And
yeah,
my experience of inner earth and some of the beings of inner earth is that their intentions for us ain't of the highest good. Not all of them.
yeah, yeah. That's I can relate to that in my travels, but most of those places were I don't want to say unknown portals, but
Yeah.
they weren't like a Shasta. But I went to Sedona, and yeah, knowing that
Always
I
wanted to
was,
go there.
yeah, it's pretty. But I knew I was going in there full force and like with a mission. At least at that time, I understood what I thought I was supposed to be doing. What I didn't know, I was going into this full blown initiation, which included everything from an interdimensional shaman coming out of nowhere talking to me to a dog man, serious interdimensional being that greeted me when I came and greeted me when I left. But there was a lot of different extreme energies, not just in the environment, but in people, and I can remember laying in my hotel room and these two dark beings coming in. And it was a journey because I had to make peace and integrate to the 0 point everything I came across. There was, like you said, oneness is oneness, and it's I don't know. Those places though don't surprise me, that those type of things. Now, did they give you intel in terms of like what you're doing here, what are we doing here, what you're supposed to do, where are you going, that type of stuff?
Um, Not so much really, because there's always been part of me. Well, a big part of me. I've always been my own being. I've never been a book reader, even though I have books around me. I'll flick through a page, and then this like pause button goes on me. Maybe I'm just impatient, but I feel that if I'm taking someone else's information in me, I'm like let's say, challenge something else that doesn't belong to me. I will only allow me in me, my higher self, my higher good. And my higher self, my highest good is Martu. And that's where Martu came from Shasta, actually. And that was in a tent. And funny enough, it was reading a book. I'm not sure if it was 1111 or it was the Starborn one or something like that. But it was calling in your soul a golden angel. And I've never been into, that kind of thing. But it's like when you're in a tent in the middle of wilderness, middle of nowhere, there's nothing to switch on to take your mind. You've got plenty of time on your hands, put it this way. So it's like, I can't help to just try it. This is when it got really, really interesting. I found myself, we'd done the incantation, done the thing, sitting there in meditation, just there. And next thing, I opened my eyes, completely awake. And my third eye, just like a little laser pen, strobed out, and it started squiggling all over the tent. And I heard this voice come through me. And it wasn't like a little whisper, like, hello. It was Martu, Martu. I'm like, excuse me? I am Martu. I'm like, I am Martu? Like, yeah. I'm like, and I said, could you actually spell that for me?
Could you spell that for me?
It is. That's the cheeky chap I am. I just say it as it is. The next thing,
that's the way to communicate with them.
You got squiggle, M-A, and the actual dash, 2. Martu, as if, duh. Martu. Like, you know you are. This is you. And we all know that every single being, every single one of us, Martu, whatever your names may be, when you find your soul name, if you wish to find your soul name, it doesn't make you any more powerful. It can make you more connected, but, if sticking a banana skin on your head makes you feel connected, just do it. Just do it. But they are ketones. They are frequency. They're like universal musical notes. And they become our mantras. And when we use our own mantras and fill them with our own integrity of ourself and our truth and our being, we kind of become invincible. We become all-powerful. We can be manipulated still because we all know that the brighter the light, more moths were attracted to the flame.
Yeah.
True. So now, that are you.
Now, you went over there, and were you with this lady for the 6 years you were there? No. Did y'all travel? Okay. So I was going to ask you, that was like a soul connection, part of your journey? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when you came back to UK, did you just plug in and resume a life? And
it was one of the most, let's say, I can't find a word, horrible experiences of my life. I was in Eugene at the time. It's lovely beings, lovely divine family, doing a lot of good work in Eugene. It felt good. But the thing is, my father had passed like the year before. He died of cancer. And the last thing I said to my beautiful my dad was, I was on the phone, and that if you haven't got nothing nice to say to the world, I don't want to speak to you again. And he went a very painful, not a very nice way at all. And I thought, I can't lose another member of my family, not be there. It felt kind of selfish, I'm like on this magical, mystical adventure, but to everyone thought, oh wow, he's having the time of his life. But there was some very, very dark moments. Some moments where life was at risk. Quite a few moments where life was at risk over there. But the last thing I'm going to do is share that with my friends and family and create the illusion of worry, the biggest misuse of imagination there is. Yes. So come back.
Thank you for that. Let's get a meme out on that one. That's a great quote. I love that.
Well, we got to ask yourselves, and I always say this to people, it's like, when have you ever had an epiphany when you've been worrying? Has it ever served you purpose? It's like you're sitting there, you're worrying about something. It's like, great, sorted. I know what to do now. It's when you let go of that worry. Yeah. Then the truth will prevail. It always does. Yeah. The ship will always set sail. Always in the direction that you want it to do, without fail. Yeah. It's faith. It's not belief. Yeah. It's faith.
That's right. That's the whole truth. Now, what happened? Now, you came back. You didn't want to be. You wanted to be there. If anything else happened, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it was my life. It was my world, and I love it, and I miss the place dearly. So the first thing I noticed, I knew shit was, excuse my French, shit was going to hit the fan as soon as I was at Portland Airport. I was going down the lift just to go through the checkpoint and all that. As soon as I got the lift, and all my friends and my loved ones that were with me at that time, we all felt it. And it was like this big, thick, energetic wave went through us all. And I had this anxiety, like, it was horrible. You know, and I felt, I'm coming back and I'm going to break my heart. I just knew it. And I just knew it. And on that plane, and basically I put myself into a frequency of pretending. I was denying my intuition. I started denying it. So that strong voice, that Martu, that was all powerful, all strong, was fearless, started becoming a whisper. I was shutting it. I was drowning myself, my own truth. And I was becoming denser and denser and denser. I was excited to see my family again. And I got off the plane, and the situation I ended in, it just wasn't the situation, let's say, I was wishing for. And I had to go to the job centre, you know, no money, nothing like that. Saying the friends, got back into bad habits again, started abusing, poisoning my beautiful vessel. Go to the job centre, trying to claim some money to get myself by. They looked at me and they says, you've been out of the country for over 2 years. We're not even allowed to talk to you for 6 months or interview me. I'm like, excuse me? My name is NS860272. That's the national insurance number. I pay taxes, I've worked all my life, and you're not even prepared to help me. And they go, actually, here you go, here's the number of a church. You can get a food box from them, but you can only get one at a time. So it got rough. From someone living organic, natural, pure, I was poisoning this beautiful vessel that I love so dearly. This is my Eden. All our vessels are Eden. We're caretakers of our own garden. If we all caretake our own garden, guess what? Peace on earth. I was poisoning myself with processed shite. And I felt that. My ego loved that, because it goes, yeah, I'm going to shame your flame. And it shamed me and shamed me and shamed me. And I felt I just don't want to be here no more. I didn't want to be here no more. So I called out for friends. I ended up staying in another place and buried my stepdaughters, as gorgeous beings. They put up with me. But no one knew what was going on inside me, because I pretended very well. I put a smile on my face. Everyone's like, yeah. They just see me as Johnny Feld, this old cat with the reputation. Oh, Johnny, how you going, mate? They didn't know the Martu. I wasn't even allowed to say my name, because they'd just dismiss it and just call me John back, not thinking that it's a made-up, airy-fairy, woo-woo name. But if I was to explain it to them, it still wouldn't make sense, because talking on deaf ears, you're never going to get anything through.
Yeah.
So I ended up in this place, beautiful, beautiful cottage, by the way, beautiful man putting up with me. But every night, every day, every second of every single day, my ego wasn't just talking to me. It was screaming at me like screaming kids. And it was showing me visions, different pictures, different ways to take my life. How about you try doing this? Every waking moment, every time I put my head on the pillow, it came even more. And my Om Mani Padme Hum, my mantra, I just repeating it. So that my only salvation in that time was that mantra. It's the only thing that shut that monkey mind demanding more bananas, was Om Mani Padme Hum. And I regurgitated that. And even that was making me dizzy away. It was like the record of Om Mani Padme Hum with a scratch in it with a needle, and just repeat. That was the only time of peace. But as soon as I stopped that mantra, my limited self, Mr. Linear Surfer, he's waiting there. You ready, mate? How about just jump off a flyer in front of a lorry? So I'm having to confront that every single time. I'm like, I can't do that. What about the people that do love? I can't leave my pain. And it weren't just pain. I knew if I was to open up that and bear what was in me, it would incinerate people. And that, you know, I will walk into an inferno to protect people around me. And it's not about being a saint or a martyr. It's about, it's not their issue. I created this.
Yeah. Handle your shift.
Absolutely. You know, and then that place, my friend who was living there, he said, I'm moving out now with a lovely lady. And he goes, you have to move out. I got kind of like, where do I go now? I've got nothing. I've got no one. Everyone thinks I'm woo-woo weird. Todd all too well. A lot of people sing a song. Yeah, we did. Oh, you should. Why don't you let us know? Then you ring up. I would, mate, but we ain't got room at the time. That kind of shenanigans kind of thing. But where I am now, and I've still been in now in this beautiful room with a beautiful brother of mine, I put a little call out on Funbook. I call it Funbook Facebook. Basically, short little words, but I put the essence of all that I am inside them words. Like, please, someone help me. Please, someone help. I didn't say that. I said, look, I need someone. I'm in the post office. Probably got 50p in my pocket, enough to buy a pack of fucking processed shit noodles. I couldn't ask anyone for food. I was that bloody proud. And my phone rang, and he goes, right, mate, when do you want to come and look at your room? And I just flooded into tears. It's like, my God, someone's seen me. Someone's actually seen me. And I went round it, and I've been in this sanctuary ever since. So much gratitude for that. But I'd like to share something else with you, Todd, that it didn't make it all that much better, because I got back into addiction. Drink, smoke, you name it, everything, mate. And I found that the smoke wasn't enough unless it was married with like special brew, extra strong lager, or a bottle of vodka and all that, and they come best of friends. And at first, yeah, it shut that monkey mind up. And with the vodka, the spirit, I felt connected for a little bit, but I couldn't stop. That addiction says, keep going. And then that took it over. You feel sick the next day. Shame would come in. The flame dimmers again. I couldn't look people in the eyes. People would love me. I just hid away. Going into jobs and work that just breaks my soul, destroys it. And then it got to a point where I just couldn't do it no more, and I'd have to walk out or leave, or I'd get the sack, wrongly accused of bullshit. Like one thing, like being a bully, a negative bully. I'm a protector. I'm a warrior. I'll give all that I am, and I'll do it again and again and again. Again and again. I have lifetime to lifetime and lifetime. That's my purpose. One of my purposes. But I'm changing that record. I'm changing that story right now. My purpose is joy. My purpose is the onk, the melody of love. That's the only melody I want in my life. So just a few weeks ago, the same scenario happened, A few weeks ago, I walked out of another job because it broke my heart, because I keep fit. I'm a strong being. I'm in good shape. But it's a curse in some place, because not everyone looks after the vessel. So I was doing all this work and it was destroying me. My back was killing, and I'd just come home and then I'd get on the drink, get on the smoke, just to ease that pain. But doing that was making me sicker and sicker and sicker. And the ego is like, he's got his marching band outside, and he's like, I've been waiting for this moment, Marty. Now, we're going to talk about what we talked about last time. Ending you, my son. So all I had was, take my life, take my life, take my life again. I found myself in the bath with a Stanley knife in there, ready to just bleed myself out. Luckily, that little whisper, it's always there. What about that? They would never understand. So it's like, I cannot leave that pain and incinerate the people that I love around me. Still carried on. And it wasn't about 2 weeks ago, on the 21st, I found myself in the woods with a rope, with a noose around my neck. And I went to jump. And in the timeline I did. And I died, my friend. Timelines changed. And you know that, you felt that. In the last 2 weeks, we're in a different timeline now.
Yeah.
So this is all brand new. I'm brand new.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels amazing. I'm clean. Yes, I'm an addict, but there are no things feeding my addiction. I'm clean. I'm pure again. And now I feel purpose. I feel love. I feel my heart. I can hear its beat. And that whisper is a roar again. I now know I have that lion's mane. I now know the Shipue, the phoenix, has risen again out of the ashes. I'm ready. So what's next? I just want to expand. For me, going back into the mundane of work, which I will, because nothing's free. There are bills to be paid. This beautiful man I live with, Life's not free for him. This room isn't free for me. Things have to happen. I've always found it gone against my grain, you know, and this is stupid ego pride again. To not use my life experience, which I believe is a powerful tool it is to assist others. I'm not here to help anyone. I'm here to help me to survive and live. If we all help ourselves and be the truth that we all are, again, job done, peace on earth. But I want to use these experiences, these skills, you know, make some dollars through that kind of thing. It's always gone, can't do that. But meeting for other beautiful beings, like, it's changing my intellect. That you got to change that old record. We've got to change that old story, because I have worth, and I'm feeling that worth once again. Like, we all have worth, and you know, we're going sacrifice that worth for unworthiness. We're expected, and you look at work, you look for work, and they advertise in work as, hey, you want to work, literally these words, my brother, you want to work in a stressful environment, must do overtime, must do this, stupid hours a week. What? This is the normality? Not in my reality, not in my environment, and I choose not to. And I can only be my truth. So if in interviewing them, things like that, I can't lie. I can never lie. And it just sounds weird and freaky to them. But I will always be what I am, no matter what. No matter what.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I know you feel me, brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am. Yeah. The truth vibration.
Exactly. This is the only vibration there is, because it's all polarities all at one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
It's important, and it's important to speak it. It's become like an igniter in this new timeline.
Exactly, and I found that people are letting go of it's all about bliss, it's all about this. Like, to me, what I've witnessed with bliss creates ignorance. It can create ignorance, because it dumbs us down to all the polarities exist. And this, my friend, in my opinion and experience of life, the biggest separation that has been caused, one of the biggest separations is the New Age concept of love and light. Just light, light, light. What about the other polarities? You're going to piss them off, and they're going to say, oh, you think you're more powerful than me, do you, sunshine?
Yeah.
Well, let me just give you a reminder. But we're all free, every one of us. But I like to know myself as the Constantine of the grey, the pivot of the seesaw, keeping everything in check and balance. And I'll always be that. There is no right and wrong in this world, only difference. And that's where it goes wrong. We always try to fight and sell our truth to another. No, it's not like that. It's not. Everyone's truth is valid because it's their perspective and it's their experience of what they feel. Right. Who the hell are we to say that that's wrong? But I will always share my truth, whether it irritates another or not. And I will always call out the BS. Always. Yeah. Someone's got to do it. I don't need an exception of another.
Yeah. There's a difference between speaking truth and trying to change somebody. You know?
Absolutely.
You know, the thing that really jumps out at me in this broadcast is that, you know, you've had an experience with interdimensional, inner-earth beings. Other people have had with galactics and so on. We've also had that,
but we'll go there another day.
Yeah, well, we will do that another day. We will definitely do this again. Yeah, but then there's also been the physical reality where things have you know, presented themselves to us and do every single day. You know, in a scenario of power over, potentially power disempowerment, fear, given to fear, whatever you want to call it. But what I really love about
against reality.
Yeah, what I really love about your testimony today is
thank you.
This inner dialogue between what you understand is you, your higher self, and this ego. And when you take into consideration the broader spectrum to include psyop. New Age could have very well have been a psyops. Half of the light worker
100% in my reality, 100%.
Yeah.
Invented in 1950s
Well, you know what I mean.
three gentlemen.
There you go. Okay, so bottom line is those cytronics where it's been proven that that it's possible, thoughts in people's heads, people hearing voices, the Manchurian candidate type stuff. What I love about your testimony is that all of that stuff at the end of the day was outside of you.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, you held your energy field. And that is, to me, like you're talking about the vessel, that to me is the integration of all of those different things, all of those aspects of dark and light centered in your being, and you are the commander of your vessel, and you are the commander of your life. Regardless of what you're hearing, you are here honoring yourself first. And that's a powerful, powerful thing. So I want to thank you on behalf of everybody for sharing that frequency with us.
Thank you so much. I've always been blessed with suffering in a way as a young child. And I say it's a blessing because love doesn't really teach us anything. It allows us just to be. It's through pain and suffering we truly learn. We gain attributes of becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. And at the youngest age of 2 years old, I remember questioning my parents like, who are you? But I got badly burnt in a bath, and I was left alone. The babysitter was looking after the big brothers. I'm the youngest boy in the family. And I climbed in the bath, and I put the hot water, and I couldn't climb out, and I was screaming. No one came. No one came. I just burnt and burnt and burnt. I remember I could still sit to this day being in this cot in the hospital with these bars around, with all my feet bandaged up and hands banded up with this like yellow pus coming out and things like that. So from that point onwards, I felt that there was no one out there that could save me. So I had to find something inside me that would nurture me and look after me. So years went on. I always say that concept. Big brothers loved me to bits, powerful, but we were a strong family. And we had a reputation, so there were certain things that happened to us to toughen me up. I won't go into that. Mm-hmm. And at age of 8, I was less than raped by my stepfather. And he wasn't. I bless him. I give love to him. I don't give hate to no one. I don't want punishment to no one because we don't know another story. We don't know what pushed that domino over to make that pattern in the first place. But what started happening then, every single night, I'd feel my bed go down. The covers would come up and my feet would be tickled. And anyone who knows me, I love my feet. It puts me into a state of nothingness. Just calm, protected. I'm under the covers. I'm in this safe little cocoon. I suppose I'm building a physical aura around me and not knowing it. And I felt safe, and it was just so calm and lovely. And I share this with you now. The first time I never knew what that spirit or that entity was. But in 2016, New Year's Eve, I'm in Eugene. And it was New Year's Day, just randomly downstairs washing up some plates. And I try not to, us being empathic, we can relive and feel the moment. And I can feel it, I try not to go there. All of a sudden this wave just going, and I just stream of tears. I was so emotional like that. And I went, whoosh, flashed straight back there. I was that boy in bed, and it was all happening all over again. The bed would come down, my feet were being tipped, and I was like, oh my God, like, who are you? And then it got even more emotional. It was like, then my voice, my high set, my voice is in me like, you've never been alone. Yeah. It's you.
It is you.
We're multidimensional. So what we call, what guardian angels are it's us.
It's you, yeah.
It's us. The other version of us, like Russian dolls, the layers go on and on and on, the fractal self of us. It's there, loving me. And from that moment, it's like, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone thinks they can take away from me. They can't take away that power.
They can't.
We are all that we need, and nothing can take that away. Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah, that's powerful. I can relate to that. I know a lot of people can. that's a powerful testimony.
Proof of soul.
Hour.
Proof of soul, isn't it? Has that been an hour already? Wow.
Yeah. I'd stay on longer, but I've got an important meeting that I need
Gorgeous one. I totally understand.
Integrate for and balance. But I really enjoyed it. Let's collaborate again. Like I said, everybody, if these shows resonate with you, please share. We'll have our brother back on again. He's got countless stories I can tell. Very powerful, very powerful connection
too many
today. Yeah, no, we had a lot of subjects we could get into. Maybe even get you on a panel. I'm thinking about doing a show with 2 or 3 people on.
I would love that. I would love that, mate.
Yeah, I'd love to get your perspective on a few things in a group session like that. Yeah. You take care. Thank you so much for coming on at such short notice. Thank you, everybody, for.
Thank you, everyone.
I think today's going to be a special day. We've got a friend of mine from my hometown coming on in
that looks
2
a good
hours.
one. I've seen that. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty deep, intense hour, and we don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be spontaneous, but there's some
freestyling again, baby. Freestyle it. It's the only way because you know I made loads of notes and pens just in case because my anxiety. When you have that anxiety, which I call is ego scream, it tries to yell over your truth. You think you have to make all these notes just in case you don't remember. But we all know when we're in the moment, which
yeah, true.
You know,
that's true.
We don't need nothing. True. And do you ever sleep, my brother? Doing all this beautiful work and connect with people?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I'm hoping to sleep tonight. I've had about 40 hours in the last 2 weeks. It's like interesting.
We'll get some rest. I'll see you in the ethers. Until next time.
You saw me in the ether last night, but I'll tell you about that another time. I love you, bro.
I was busy last night. I know that.
Oh, my God, see you later. Take care. Much love, everyone. Right. Take care now.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks.